Welcome to the Madison Miller Podcast. Tonight's guest, I was on his show, the Doug Siravo Show, last Friday, and now he is on my show, the one and only Doug Siravo. How are you doing on this Thursday evening?
I'm doing good. Just finished up an episode of Dougie and the Boys about an hour ago, so now I'm a guest on your show.
That's awesome. I love your show. You guys are awesome at what you do. Want to promote your show real quick before we get going?
Yeah, every Thursday is the Doug Siravo Show, Dougie and the Boys, which is brought to you by the Monkey Bar and Grill. Swing on by. We talk about all different topics around sports. We have our weekly NFL picks, our hot takes, and whatever predictions the boys like to throw out.
I love the hot takes on your show. That's my favorite part. I got to admit, I love the hot takes because some of them are awesome and others could end up going the other way. So I got to say that's my favorite segment of your show. I just wanted to tell you that.
Thank you.
Alrighty, so let's get going to what I have you on for. We'll start in the NFL. Every week on my show on Fridays, I have the Fab Five. I do 5 picks for college football and 5 picks for the NFL. Well, now college is just bowl, so it's not really for college anymore, just the NFL. And I wrote down a couple picks that I'm considering, and your job is to either talk me into or out of picks I have written down here. The first pick I have on here is a pick that I just think the number is too high because the team is a 12.5 point road favorite and have a couple of injuries potentially. And the team that has the injuries is the 49ers, who are laying 12.5 against the Cardinals. I think Arizona might cover 12.5. Do you agree or disagree that the Cardinals can cover 12.5?
I think that's a hard one to take because you don't know what you're going to get out of the Cardinals. Niners could just steamroll this team. So for me, I think this would be a hard bet for me to take because either way, you don't know what could happen.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm considering the Cards because of the 49er injuries, division game, and the line's too high. And the 49ers, it's funny because I had the 49ers minus the points against the Cardinals when they played in San Francisco, and they barely covered, and it took until the third quarter or the fourth quarter for them to cover, and that was with Josh Dobbs at quarterback, and obviously Kyler's better than Dobbs. So Cardinals is one that I have considered. Another one I've considered here to bet on is the Buccaneers plus 3.5 at Green Bay. The hook is what it's intriguing. So if the Packers win by 3, the Bucs cover the spread. Do you think the Bucs can cover 3.5 against the Packers?
Yeah, I think this will be a close game. Baker is on a mission to prove to himself and his organization that he belongs there. And I think it's going to be hard for Green Bay to bounce back from the Tommy DeVito comeback when Jordan Love isn't there just yet. And they've been inconsistent throughout the year.
Yeah, that's one I'm probably going to bet on. And I may or may not include it in the Fab Five. We shall see. I don't know if the Bucs will win outright, but the hook is what's intriguing. Well, this is an underdog that I think is likely to win outright, and that's the Jacksonville Jaguars getting 3.5. Yes, 3 and a hook at home against the Baltimore Ravens, who are still missing Mark Andrews. And Lamar in big games at night really hasn't been all world like some of the other elite quarterbacks. Do you think the Jaguars have a shot to win this outright?
I think so. We're not really sure how Trevor Lawrence is going to be 100%. But there's this thing when teams go down to Florida in that nice sunny weather, there could be some distractions. So I think Jacksonville can win this one outright.
I think Jacksonville can absolutely win outright as well. And the last number I want to throw out you is a total that I'm considering betting in the Fab Five, and that is over 37.5 points between the Jets and the Dolphins. My argument for this over is that the Miami defense has some injuries right now. Obviously, Jalen Phillips out for the year. Javon Holland, the safety, not healthy. Xavier Howard's not healthy. Jalen Ramsey, something's up with him. And the Jet offense in the second half of that Texans game came to life. So I really do like that over. And, of course, Miami's going to probably score a lot against the Jets. So I really like over 37.5. Do you like that one, too?
Yeah, look, the Jets are on a mission. Zach Wilson is on a mission. The Jets can put up points. and their defense can also stop opponents. But the thing with me is the Miami Dolphins want to bounce back. They want to show them that this is not a fluke, because we've seen it in years past where they start off the season well and then they go on a losing streak and they end up losing in the first round. The Miami Dolphins have Super Bowl aspirations for this season, so I think this is going to be a high-scoring game, but I still think Miami wins it. But I won't be surprised if the Jets find a way to win this game. It'll probably be, I think the over will hit at least 55.
Yeah, 37.5 is a super low total, so that's why I absolutely adore this over. And I bet the over in the Black Friday game too, and that obviously hit, so that was good. So that'd be the second time I'm touching an over in a Jets-Dolphins game. All right, now I'm going to get the floor to you. I'm going to say the matchup, and you tell me which side you're going with, and a little bit of a reasoning why. We'll start with tonight, just straight up, Chargers-Raiders tonight in Vegas.
I got to go with the Raiders playing in Vegas. Chargers, they've been very inconsistent, and they have to fire Brandon Staley. He has not been a good coach for this organization, for this franchise. And for my friend Mike, who's probably watching from heaven, that's his wish for since they hired him. So I hope they make the right decision and move on from Brandon Staley.
Yeah, I would think the Chargers are going to move on from Brandon Staley, too. I think the Raiders win this game, and I think there's a possibility they win this by double digits because Justin Herbert is injured. Let's move on to Saturday. Vikings-Bengals. This was a game that I am not going to bet on, but I have an idea straight up. Who do you like?
Just because we don't know about their quarterback position, I'm going with Cincy. Minnesota's quarterback is up in the air, so I can't really decide on that, but Cincy playing at home, I like Cincy.
I'm going Cincy straight up as well. Jake Browning's playing really good. I just hope he actually plays this week because he got hurt in that game last week against the Colts. I just hope he actually plays. Another game that I am struggling to pick a straight up winner in, Steelers-Colts.
I like the Colts at home, so I'm just going to go with the Colts. Can't really give a reason behind it.
That's a tough one. I don't know who's going to win that game. At gunpoint, I'd say Colts too because they're home. But if Kenny Pickett was playing, I definitely would say Steelers. But I just don't like how the Steelers have looked lately. So I would say Colts too, but I would not be shocked if the Steelers found the way to win the game. So the next one on Saturday is Broncos-Lions.
I'm going with the hottest team in football, Denver Broncos. Don't be surprised if they find a way to win that division if Kansas City struggles.
I really love the Denver call, but I'm going to say Lions at home because they need the game, and it's a night game at home. And 3 straight road games for Denver, by the way. I'm rooting for the Broncos because I just like watching the Broncos play. I want to see them make the postseason. So I'm rooting for your pick to be right, but I think Detroit probably finds a way. All right, Sunday, Bears-Browns.
I like Joe Flacco playing the way he's been playing. If he gets hot, if his young self comes to play, I can see the Browns going to the AFC Championship game. Bears have a good defense, but I think the Browns win this game.
I think the Browns should find a way to win too, so I'm going to agree with you and say the Browns. I'm not putting any money on that game, unless if it's for the over. Next up, do you agree with me? Do you think the Bucs have a chance to win outright, or do you think Green Bay finds a way?
I think Tampa has it.
Okay. I'm going to say Green Bay covers, Tampa covers, but Green Bay wins. I just think that Tampa covers 3.5. I won't be shocked if Tampa wins outright, but I'm going to say Green Bay wins the game but doesn't cover, because the hook is why I really like Tampa to cover, that 3.5, because if it was just 3, I probably would stay away. Next up, Texans-Titans. This was a difficult one for me.
I like the performance of C.J. Stroud being I'm a big Ohio State fan. But I think the team with all the momentum right now is the Tennessee Titans. I think they go on a 2-game winning streak. That comeback win against Miami is huge. So I'm going with Tennessee.
To me, it comes down to whether CJ plays or not, and the betting line suggests that he may not play. But I'm going to agree with you and say Titans because I don't know how CJ is going to look after his exit in the Jets game the other day. So I'm going to say Tennessee, whether it's Stroud or not. Okay, Jets or Dolphins?
I like the Jets. I think they're on a momentum swing. I think the Dolphins are still in shock about what happened on Monday night. I could be wrong, but I like the Jets for this.
I'm going to say the Dolphins find a way to bounce back. I don't know if they'll cover the spread, but I just think that they should be able to beat the Jets and Zach Wilson. I love the over in that game, though. Chiefs-Patriots. This is an interesting one.
I think just because the Patriots are very inconsistent and there's rumors going on about Bill Belichick that there's a lot of distractions in New England right now. And it's just not the same without the core they've had there for years. So I'm going with Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs to have a field day against the New England Patriots. Sorry, David, but
I think Kansas City finds a way too, but I won't be shocked if New England keeps it close. All right, here we go. Giants Saints.
You know who I'm going with? I'm going with the New York Giants on this one. They just have all the momentum in the world right now. And if everything goes their way and the teams in front of us lose, the Giants could make the playoffs, and I'm all for it. We don't know about our quarterback situation next year, but if Tommy DeVito does get us into the playoffs and Daniel Jones is not 100% healthy, despite the big payday, I would still make Tommy DeVito our starting quarterback for next season and keep Daniel Jones as a backup. You could still throw in Jones for QB drawers and plays like that. Just where you don't give him the idea that we gave up on him and make it a Zach Wilson situation. So Giants are going to win this game.
I think the Giants win as well. Saints have some injuries on defense. And like you said, the Giants have the momentum and they have the cutlets. So, big blue, baby. I'm right there with you. Next up, the Falcons and the Panthers.
Atlanta. Easy, based on the record.
I'm going to go Atlanta too, but I think Carolina keeps it somewhat close. That's another game I'm considering the over in terms of picks. Next up's an interesting one. Commanders-Rams.
I'm going with the Rams just because they're home.
I like the Rams too. They need the game. Bad loss against the Ravens last week, but bad in terms of crushing, not performance-wise. Rams probably should have won that game last week. But yeah, I want to see the Rams make the postseason because I think that they're a team that can upset a top seed in the NFC in the playoffs. Next up, you think the 49ers are going to steamroll Arizona?
Yeah.
I don't know if they'll steamroll them. I just think that the Cardinals keep it close, but I'm going to say 49ers as well, straight up at least. Game of the weekend, Cowboys-Bills.
Buffalo wins this. They find a way to carry the momentum into this game.
I want to be wrong here, but I'm going to say Dallas because everybody's picking the Bills. And there's always that one game where everybody's picking the one team and the opposite happens. I know the last 2 weeks, it involved the Eagles both times. Everybody loved Dallas, and then everybody loved the 49ers, and both those teams won. I feel like the Cowboys are in the same situation as the Eagles were the past several weeks, but I'm going to say Cowboys, but I might change my mind come game day only because I need to see the injury status of a couple of guys on the Bills. Okay, Sunday Night Football. Ravens-Jaguars.
I like Jacksonville.
I like Jacksonville a lot too. Jacksonville, I love it. Trevor Lawrence, I think, is healthy. They got going a little bit in the Browns game last week. I'm not a fan of the defense on Jacksonville, but I'm going to say Jacksonville wins as well. And then, last but not least, Monday Night Football. The game that got flexed in, replacing Chiefs-Patriots, and that is the Eagles at the Seahawks.
Just because of the environment and the atmosphere, I like the Seahawks.
I think the Seahawks have a chance to win outright as well. I'm going to say Eagles for now, but on Monday night I might change my mind. I need to see some of the injury status with Seattle, but It's similar to Cowboys Bills. I'm gonna say Cowboys and Eagles both win for now, but I might flip the Bills and Seahawks come Sunday or Monday. So that's why I'm not including either of those games in like my betting picks and whatnot. Alrighty, so before we head out, we're gonna play a round of buy or sell. I have 8 topics for you, and one of them we alluded to a couple of minutes ago, and that's the first one I'll talk about. Buy or sell. The New York Giants will draft a quarterback in April.
No, I think they're going to fall too out of the draft order. And you have to like what you have from DeVito. Seems like the team is playing around him and for him. And then you have Jones. You don't want to make it a Zach Wilson situation and the locker room becomes disruptive. So I'm going to sell that one.
I am going to buy it, but it might change to sell if DeVito plays better down the stretch, especially against the Eagles. If he plays well against the Eagles, then I'm going to switch to sell. If not, then I'm sticking with buy. But this is one that I might flip come February. So right now I'm going to say buy, but that could change. And the other argument is for them to trade up, because don't forget they have that pick from Seattle in the Leonard Williams deal that is looking better by the day. So I could totally see them trading up as well. So I'm going to disagree and say buy for the time being. All right, here's a fun one. The Kansas City Chiefs won't make the AFC title game.
I buy it.
I'm buying that too. For now. For now is a buy. Absolutely. I just don't like how they've looked.
Yeah, I don't like it either.
I had a feeling you were going to agree with me on that one. I'm excited for that. But yeah, right now, I don't even know who I put in the AFC title game. I'm not going to write off the Dolphins because of a defensive collapse against the Titans, so I still like them. We talked about the Dolphins on your show last week. But the other team is where it's interesting. I said Chiefs a week ago, but now I think maybe, dare I say, the Bills. Can it be Bills-Dolphins in the AFC title game?
Well, if the Bills win out and the Dolphins are 10-7, the Bills win that division. So, all depends on the seeding, but I could see the Bills getting there.
Yeah, it could be the Bills. All right, baseball buy or sell. The Los Angeles Dodgers will land Yoshimuro Yamamoto to go with Shohei Ohtani in what looks to be a big offseason in Los Angeles.
God. Because of 2020, I hate the Dodgers.
Right.
And I hate the Dodgers more than I hate the Yankees right now.
Ooh, wow.
So, I have a feeling because of the Japanese connection, they're going to add Yamamoto or Yamamoto. No, that's what I mean, Yamamoto, because I think he'll be a New York Yankee.
So you're selling that one?
Yeah, I'm selling it.
I'm selling too because I think Yamamoto will be a Yankee as well, but I don't feel as good about it as I did maybe a week ago. But I still think Yamamoto will be a Yankee, and there'll be a Yamamoto offseason in the Bronx.
Yeah, that's why I had the tongue twister.
Yeah, that's okay. I've been saying it too. Don't worry. All right. This is involving your beloved Tampa Bay Rays. This is something we talked about on your show a week ago. The Tampa Bay Rays would regret trading Randy Arozarena if they were to do so.
A part of me wants to say yes, just because of the culture he brings to the locker room and to the fans when he hits the field and he hits left field, Randy Land, as I call it. But because the Rays do things so, I guess you could say, non-politically correct in baseball terms, they always find ways to win games. They may regret it right now as they're trying to get back to the World Series. But in the long run, I don't see it being a problem for this franchise.
I'm going to go buy for the short term as well. Listen, maybe I'm basing it off of me watching a lot of Rays with the Yankees being in their division and whatnot, but I like Arozarena, and I think he's a guy that you keep to build around. So I think they would regret trading him. NBA buy or sell. This is a juicy one. This is kind of similar to the Chiefs. The Golden State Warriors need to change things up come the trade deadline. Buy or sell.
Well, if you just watched this last episode, we finished the show talking about the Golden State Warriors and how they completely fell off. They're going to start their rebuild sooner than we think. Don't be surprised if you see someone like Clay or Steph on the move. So I buy that they're going to start selling.
I'm going to buy it too, but I wouldn't say Steph. I would say it's more Draymond, Clay, and Andrew Wiggins, and then they kind of get like young pieces and picks, and they try to keep Curry a little happier. Or who the hell knows? Maybe Curry's the surprise star that wants out. I mean, I don't think that's going to be the case, but like anything could happen.
Look for him to go back home to Charlotte.
I was thinking Charlotte too. If he were to leave Golden State, that's the one team I could see it being Charlotte for like LaMelo Ball and a bunch of picks.
Yeah, I see that happening.
I don't think that's gonna happen like next year, but maybe like 3 years down the road.
Next 3 to 5 years.
Yeah, maybe I would say maybe 2.5, 3 years, maybe 2025, maybe something like that. I could see that. And then obviously Charlotte has new ownership as well.
Yeah.
So
it's a matter of time.
It's a matter of time, exactly. Here's a good one: buy or sell. Somebody other than the Celtics or the Bucks can win the Eastern Conference and make the NBA Finals.
Look out. Now, a lot of people are going to probably say I'm nuts, but I'm really liking the play of this one team, and it's the New York Knicks.
Ooh.
If they could go out and acquire a piece, this is a team that could go on a run in the East. Obviously, they have to get through Boston, but I see them being a threat to one of the top 2 teams.
I'm going to sell this one as well, and the team I think could go on a run is the Miami Heat, who went on a run last year, and they're not as good as the team as they were a year ago, but it's Eric Spoelstra. He's a darn good coach. And then the Knicks, the case for them is they go out and trade for a piece, like you said. But I think Miami is that team that can dethrone Boston or Milwaukee because we saw them do it already. So maybe it's just recency bias for me. So I'm going to say the Miami Heat is that team. All right, NHL buy or sell. This is a really good one and right up our alley because we grew up watching this player. Alex Ovechkin will break Wayne Gretzky's goal record within the next 18 months. 18 months. So I'd say, where does 18 months bring us? I'd say 2025.
A part of me wants to say sell, just because how he started the season. But if you know the game and you know Alex Ovechkin, there's going to be a point where he gets on a monster streak and starts scoring goals. There was a point, even middle of his career, like 10 years ago, where he would score 65, and then he would score 30 like the following season, and everyone would say, "Oh, his goal scoring is falling off." So I still buy this. He wanted his cup. He changed his game. He wants to break the record, so he'll adjust his game to make sure he puts the goals in the back of the net.
I'm going to buy it as well. I'm going to say it takes probably, I could see it being like April of 2025, maybe a little bit like into the 25-26 season. I could see it being like the end of the 24-25 season or the beginning of the 25-26 season. But if he remains healthy, I could see it being at the end of next season. So I'm going to say buy as well. And the last one for buy or sell, the Vancouver Canucks are a Stanley Cup contender.
They're playing well. They're playing good hockey. I think they're 19-7 and something, or 19-8-4, whatever their record is. There'll be a Stanley Cup final contender where they'll go there, but I don't think they'll win it right away. Give it 2 to 3 years, and I think they'll win the Stanley Cup.
I'm gonna sell on the fact that they're a contender right now. I just think that they need to add a few more pieces at the trade deadline, especially on defense. Their goalies are playing well. I feel like their depth on offense could use some help as well. So I'm going to sell that the Canucks are a contender right now. And then a couple more quick things before we go. Do you think the Devils are going to continue to this hot streak after Nico Hischier came back? What's the record since he came back? Like 6-1, 7-2, or something like that?
Yeah, we won 7 of our last 10 games.
Oh, that's what it was. 7-3 in the last 10. I think this keeps going, and eventually you're in the top 3 in the division. Do you think so?
Yeah, I buy. We have our next week. We have a game Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday, all on home ice before the Christmas break. So I could see this Devils team going on another winning streak.
Yeah, they have to, Doug, because that slow start has hurt them right now, but they can overcome that. I think they have the talent to overcome that. And you know how I feel about Jack Hughes. I think he's the best player in the division. I picked him to win the Hart Trophy before the year. I was all in on the Devils before the season. I picked them to win the division. I don't know if that's going to be the case right now. It's probably going to be the Rangers or Carolina that wins the division. But I think your team is going to be in the top 3 by New Year's. I really do. Like I said, the homestand, they have to get it going a little bit. My team, on the other hand, has not played great hockey. They lost 7-3 at home to the Leafs. I think they're not as bad as they've been in the last, say, 4 or 5 games, but I also don't think they're as good as they were in that hot start. I think they're somewhere in the middle. Do you agree?
Yeah, I think Pierre Laviolette and his teams in the past have fallen off. They get the good starts and then they fall off, kind of like with Gerard Gallant. Rangers are a playoff team, yes, but I can't see them going on a run because they've been a little bit inconsistent the last few games.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like Vancouver in a way, but I believe in the Rangers more than I believe in Vancouver in terms of cup possibilities. But I do think the Rangers need to make a trade if they are to win the East and make the Stanley Cup final. I really think they need to make a trade, personally. And there's time. There's time for them to make a trade, and I think the Devils need to be in the trade market as well. Do you agree with that one, especially for potentially a goalie?
Yeah, I think we're going to make a move. I'm not sure what it's for, but General Manager Tom Fitzgerald wants to bring a cup back to New Jersey, so he's going to do everything he can to make it happen.
Yes, I agree with that. How about the Islanders? That's the other local team that it's in our division. What are your thoughts on them so far this season? To me, they've been a little meh, a little mediocre.
I think the Islanders will fall off.
They probably might. We'll see. I mean, they have a chance. I mean, I like Sorokin, though. I think Sorokin's a really good goalie.
Yeah, but they've been inconsistent, and we've seen in the past with Lamoriello and his teams, they always find a way to fall off.
Yeah, they do always tend to fall off. Are you buying Philly in the division? Or I think that's the team that falls off. I think the Flyers fall off after their good start.
Yeah, I think the Flyers eventually fall off.
Do you think the Pens can kind of get hot? To me, they're the team that's the most inconsistent in the division. Pittsburgh's been very strange so far this year.
Pittsburgh will fall off, too. Same thing with Washington.
You think Pittsburgh and Washington fall out? I think the top 3 in the division is going to be our 2 teams in Carolina when it's all said and done.
Yeah, I think Pittsburgh and Washington, they're heading to the rebuild days.
Yeah, and it's funny because people said that about Boston too, but Boston just continues to win games and be relevant in the conference. And what about Tampa? Do you think Tampa's more like the Rangers in Boston, or do you think they're more like Pittsburgh, Washington now?
I think they're going to head towards the rebuild days still eventually. Most of that core is disappearing.
Yeah, most of that core is disappearing, and to me, that could be like the Blackhawks potentially, the down the road. Do you know how the Blackhawks were just irrelevant before Connors showed up? I mean, that could be Tampa in 4 years from now.
Yeah, I see it happening.
Yeah, I mean, and we're just talking about that with Golden State and basketball, too. I mean, Tampa Lightning is a good candidate to potentially blow up within the next couple of years. So, Doug, this was a fun show. We'll have to do this again sometime soon.
Thank you, Madison. Appreciate it.
Anytime, Doug. Talk to you soon.